I'm here today to talk about one of the most iconic episodes. But first, let's go back. Let's go back to episode 3 of Seducing Atmosphere is Green. Okay, let me tone it down. I know everybody and their mother just wants me to talk about episode 5, season 2, episode 5. No, I'm gonna save that for the end. So let's start season 2, episode 3. This was a really slow episode, and it's their first sort of tour day, I believe. And this happens directly after the colorism incident, and so we see Shauna sort of recovering from that and also being broke $25 in her account. And it offers a realistic approach to touring because a lot of people think of touring as this glamorous thing, at least I did. And touring is not glamorous for a lot of people that are starting out because, as we see, they have to stay on the tour bus, and then the tour bus breaks down, and then they have to kind of figure out where they're going to stay. And let's keep in mind they're not being paid. Let's keep that in mind. Like Francois, I'm going to talk about that man, that evil man. I'm going to talk about him, but Francois is not paying them. And they're expected to always have performance face on, always be ready when all these trials and tribulations are coming for them. But this episode was cute because we got to focus on Shauna and Cassidy and their relationship together, and sort of got a more softer view of Cassidy. Yes, the last season we got a whole Cassidy episode. But this season, I cried because I didn't know how devastating her upbringing was. And for her and Shauna to have that moment of connection with, the lady that came out with the gun, and then she started crying. I can talk about that some more, but I don't really, there's no further analysis needed. It's just a kind of portrayal of white feminism or white reactions or white women, where they have a lot of the power, but when they're called out for that, they make you feel bad and say, no, you're the one that's trying to hurt me. I have the gun right now, I have the weapon, but you're trying to hurt me. And I thought that was nice. I really liked that. That was a funny haha moment. And to see also the journey through the orange farm is so surrealist because you don't really, although they're from Florida, right? They don't really get this, not from Florida, because Cassidy is from the South, I believe. That's where we learn about her upbringing. We don't get this in depth, or they don't have a relationship to just things growing, to farms, to nature, because Miami is so far disconnected from the rest of Florida and the rest of the Floridian culture that it's really interesting that they were put in that situation, because it is in a place that they're supposedly supposed to be familiar with. However, the construction of the place is unfamiliar, and so we see how they navigate this situation together, and we see how Cassidy truly cares for Shauna and truly wants the best for Shauna when Shauna is, oh my gosh, Shauna is so embarrassing sometimes. I get it. She is unaware of how all the things that she's doing, she's unaware of. And this is why I keep saying Shauna has some sort of neurodivergence, but I shall stop going further into that. But she is the worst thief I have ever seen. If there's a thief that does not know how to theft, it is Shauna, because how are you putting things in your pants and then you're running out? Obviously they're going to follow you, babe. it's not yeah, it's not that deep. And a scene that struck me is when both of them Shauna said, I'm on my period. Cassidy's like, yeah, me too. And then Shauna's a little bit shocked for a second because she's like, and to me that moment was this sort of, when it comes to presenting outside the kind of feminine subsection of womanhood, even. I don't know, because Cassidy is a stud. She's a stud, what can we do? And so in that way, there are all these masculine traits that are put on her, and she's not expected to have a period, or her having a period is something surprising, or even her sharing that, because it takes away from the masculine image, or like the strong, self-starter, do it by yourself person that she is. And I think that moment was really important to be added, because it makes you as a viewer analyze your thoughts further. It makes you go in your brain and clean it out, take out all the biases that you have, or even like check yourself. I'm gonna talk about Mia. I really dislike Cash. But I think Cash's actions further reveal kind of an abusive person, and the ways an abusive person starts to shame you and demoralize you so that they can easily control you by making you feel less than. And it starts really slow, but I'm not going to talk about that with Cash yet. I'm going to talk about Mia and how she left Shauna in a way. And this is when they're still fighting, because they make up later on in the season, but in episode 3, Shauna and Mia are still very much fighting opposing battles. They're on opposite sides of what is happening. And so Mia goes to see Cash, and she's flown out, lovely for her, and I think he makes her dinner, or he gets her dinner or something. They eat together, they talk a bit, but they don't really have an in-depth conversation. They have conversation about really surface level things. It's not that, like the conversations that we've seen her have with Lamont. I know I'm not supposed to be rooting for Lamont, but every episode, that is my man, because Lamont cares so much for Mia. And yes, he is not the most responsible person, and he does not show it in the best ways, or in ways, or does not always show up for her, or even understand her pain in ways Mia would like her pain to be understood. But the way he cares for her, and you could see that he is trying, especially trying for their child, and trying to remain cordial for their child, while I'm a pause on Mia and Lamont, because we get more of that in episode 5, and I want to go in order. My brain will not allow me to, but I want to go in the most order I can. And so with Lamont and Mia, I'm going to talk about them. Episode 5, Lamont and Mia. This one is Mia and Cash. I never liked Cash. I never liked that man. But also we get to see that Mia is so used to being kind of, being viewed through the male gaze, that she sees her only value coming from what she can offer physically. And even talking to her friends telling her, oh, you have to do this, you have to really lock it down, you have to tie it, in a circle, you have to throw it back, when And they're saying the only way she can cash in to cash is by using her body, when Mia is a very intelligent person and she has a lot to say when she's given the chance, and she has multitudes of just I can't because every time I'm like, Mia, you don't have to do this, you could just be a person, you could just be yourself. And then at the same time, I understand how she has been raised and how much her body has been a means for her to navigate the world and to allow her access to certain spaces that she wouldn't otherwise have had. But with Cash, I just don't trust Cash, and I feel like there are better options out there, which I will be discussing. Ooh. I'll be discussing them. But with Cash, I just don't understand what Mia personally sees in him. I get it. I get that his name is Cash. Number one, he has money, he has fame, so it's very much things that Mia wants, and Mia still doesn't fully believe that she can access by herself, and she has the talent, the power, the just stamina generally to do all of these things that Cash is already doing. She doesn't believe that enough in herself yet. So it's why she's with this man that it's also the way he in the first episode talks about the girl before, because I think they go to a party together. They go to a party together at the end, and Cash is talking about this past girlfriend who he wasn't with her anymore because she was using him. And he says that it's not going to be like that with you, because you have your own thing going. And in a way, we start to see Cash's controlling nature in this episode, because everything has to be done his way. Even the physical activity, he didn't give Mia an option. You know, she just had to say, okay. She just had to accept what he was giving in a way. And obviously, Mia still does not know how to advocate for herself properly, because in that situation, she should have been like, I don't know. And then I think she tries to tell her friends there's this like weirdness when it comes to Cash, but she doesn't quite have the words to explain it. And so they start telling her, no, you just hate when men treat you well. You just hate a good man. You just don't know how to be treated right. When it's usually those moments where you smell something fishy, you can't quite see it, you sense it inside you, that's when you run. That's the best moment to run. That's your body telling you, hey, there's something here. I don't want you to experience it yet, and I'm giving you the time, the space to really feel it so you could get out. But after the conversation with her friends, she's obviously like, okay, maybe I'm way over my head on this. Like, maybe I'm overthinking what happened. And then she goes back with Cash, because at this point she's in the Uber at the Starbucks. And then I think that's when Lamont calls. And Lamont, every time Lamont calls, Lamont's so sweet. He's so sweet. But he's so messy because he took their baby to the studio. And I want to talk about this because it's the first time we see Lamont fully taking responsibility, or just fully having the child. I forget the child's name. This is why I'm going to referring to them as a child. But Lamont, number one, forgot it was a half day, which is very typical, you know, like, I forget half days too. I get it. There's so many half days, and then it catches you by surprise, because the kids themselves, they don't even tell you it's going to be a half day. You just find out that, oh, today's a half day. And obviously he's trying to further his career as well. But in that moment, in that instance, I felt sorry for him. But then I looked at the way mothers are treated, especially single mothers. And if a single mother were to forget this, they'd be shamed so much. But I felt sorry for him in that instance, because we're just not used to seeing men take responsibility over the species that they helped co-create, you know? And it's sad, because this is something that Mia would just be expected to know. She'd be expected to do because she's the mother. And now that it's Lamont, I paused and I was like, I feel so bad for him. And no, he created the child, so he was part of the creation. So why is it when it comes to him, there is more leeway that is being given by me? And so in that moment, I had to also check myself and say, no, I'm not sorry for him. I'm not sorry for him. It sucks, but I'm not sorry for him, because societally, the mother would be expected to do the same, to do better in that situation. Mia would be expected to do better in that situation. And so I don't feel bad for him. I don't. At the end of the episode, we have Shauna and Chastity being besties, which I loved. And then we have back to Mia. I don't know why I say her name like that. But she's get to be so angry. She's get to be so annoyed. But Mia texts the friends. Or she thinks she's texting the friend, and she's texting Cash and saying, look at me, look at what I did. She didn't say those exact words, but it was that energy of, look at me, look at what I did. I locked him down. And it's a picture of them together. And she texted to Cash. So embarrassing. And that's how we end the episode. Because Isa likes leaving us with anxiety for a week, and then coming back and being like, more anxiety. And we just have to cope with it. And I don't like that. I want to personally talk to Isa and say, babe, slow this down. You're going too fast. I know you have only this season to explain everything and wrap it up in a way that you can transfer it to another network to take the show. But please, Isa, it's getting out of hand. It's getting out of control, because every episode I watch and I'm scared. I'm holding down the couch because I don't know what is going to happen next. Please, Isa, I am begging you. Okay, next episode 4. This was cute. Okay, it was cute, but then it wasn't, because we've got... Oh, wait for it. I forgot one thing at the end of episode 3, actually. It's about... I hate this man. I hate Maurice. So much. I dislike the person that Maurice is turning into, because how are you letting your cousin control you like that? Because he calls Mia and he's like, I don't know what to do. When a man starts crying and you guys have a case together, don't do what Mia did. Don't say, I needed money and I'm sorry I dragged you into this. No, don't say that. Say, oh, what's going on with you? What's up? Say, oh, I can't believe that's happening with you. Don't bring yourself into it. Say the you. There is no us. There is no I. It's only you. It's only the other person. So Mia says, I'm so sorry I dragged you into this. He hits record and sends it to his loser cousin. And I understand he has a family. He has a big family, actually, and he's very family oriented, it seems. But it was just not necessary to drag Mia like that for his... But yeah, that's also how the episode ends. So we are on a cliffhanger for both Mia and Shauna, and I will continue now with episode 4. Episode 4, I'm rolling my eyes again. I'm rolling. So much happened that was nice in episode 4 just for it to be taken down in episode 5. And I'm not mad. I'm not going to talk about it yet. I'm going to get mad when it's time to get mad, and it's not time to get mad. I'm talking about episode 4, an episode I thoroughly enjoyed. Isa thoroughly enjoyed it. And with episode 4, it's just romance. It's exclusive romance. We get Mia and Shauna staying at their first, it's not even a hotel, it's not even livable. We can't call it any name for something that is livable. The jokes were funny though. Loved the jokes at that part of the episode. So funny. And Francois is so evil. Francois is an evil person who will make you think that they're actually doing good for you, when in fact they are squeezing you of any life that you will ever have. And those are the type of people I dislike, because how can you be laughing in my face and then at my back you are stabbing me? Please, Francois. And it's hard because I love Jabuki, and every episode I have to separate. I have to say, this is not him, this is Francois. He's just playing a really good evil character, and it's hurting me and my ancestors right now, but I will be fine. Let's go back to Francois puts them in this nasty motel. There's water on the floor. I can't. That's the one thing the water on the floor, it makes me so uncomfortable. It makes me itchy. And Shauna and Mia are asking Cassidy, what are we going to do? But everyone's broke. Good thing Mia is... No, not Mia. Good thing Cassidy is there and is... or knows some people that they meet at the party later on where they perform. And Shauna sometimes, I don't know, because sometimes she doesn't have a belief in herself and she doesn't stand up for herself, and so it's hard to very much root for her, because I feel like Shauna and Mia are quite similar in the ways that they see the greatness in each other, but they by themselves do not see the greatness in themselves quite yet. Because when Mia is talking about Shauna, you're in your head, you're like, this is you too, babe, this is you too. And when Shauna is talking about Mia, you're like, this is you too, babe, this is you too. And so it's very difficult to root for them in these moments, but you also see it comes from a place of insecurity when these things are happening, because Shauna doesn't believe in herself enough to perform at first, and then after one thing they did is not perform with Rain, and I said yes, you guys are beautiful, you guys are perfect. I love that. I love the good vibes. Let's keep the good vibes going. And they didn't perform with Rain and then dissed her. Ugh, that was so perfect. And I'm going to talk about because this was also a slow episode, so it's not anything I want to talk about. I do want to talk about it, but it's not anything that it's like, analysis. It's just I'm recapping, really, so that we could get to the episode I actually want to talk about. Let's keep recapping. So what happens is that I used to be so serious. Let me be so serious. So they are performing, and then they're dissing Rain. I really dislike the person that plays Rain because they play her so well. I want to know who they studied, because you are getting it to the T. You're getting it to the T. And also them excluding the names of Mia and Shauna from the interview. Embarrassing. It is stinking of embarrassment, and I cannot do anything about it. Because I got mad at that point. I was angry. I was angry for them because how dare you? How dare you? They're the ones that are making you sound good and look good because you're stiff, babe. You're stiff. You're stiff like an iron board. You're stiff. And this is not about the actor. This is about the performance. And it's stiff. Not the performance. The performance is great. Rain does a great job at acting. The person that plays Rain, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful job. And because I want to talk about so many things and I keep losing my thought. But let's go forward to Francois and Cassidy. One thing about it is that I like how Francois and Cassidy are both gay. That's just me. I had to mention that. I don't know if anyone else saw a little bit of parallels, but I had to mention that. I really was thinking about that and I had to mention that. And Francois is demonic behavior. Honestly, I have never seen a person use their power. Actually, let me not lie. People use their power like that every single day because wealth causes a cognitive dissonance and leads you to think that you could get away with anything because you have wealth and power and you're protected. But I digress. I do want to talk about this in the future more because I have a lot of examples, especially of late and recent, coming out in the news. So what I want to talk about with Francois is the fact that he is so mean, but we see that he could be nice, but he could be nice in conniving ways. It's not that he is being nice, it's that he is using his niceness to manipulate you and show that if you behave in this specific way, you will get the things that you want. And that leads you to think that the only way to succeed is by following exactly what he wants you to do. But that also keeps you in this hole as Mia and Shauna are unable to be themselves or get any deals or get any further or just live like human beings because he keeps putting them last and doesn't consider them until he knows he can profit from them, as seen in the AK situation. Let me just say, I love AK. Let me just say, I love me some Courtney. Courtney. That man, Courtney. Okay. But this is the first time when Mia and Shauna are performing, AK shows up and is really enjoying their music and wants them to go to the studio. And then we see Francois coming in like the little swine he is, saying, "Oh my god, you should totes invite me." And everyone's like, "No, we don't want to invite you. Actually, let's leave right now." And we see Chastity in this episode really show up for Mia and Shauna and do things that she doesn't want to do, which is breaking into a car, getting money, breaking into a car, getting money, so that she could pay for their living, so that they could be comfortable and raise their morale, because we see how kind of down they are in this episode and just how sad they are, because it's so disappointing to live in that way, in that room that Francois put them in and said it wasn't in the budget. But then Rain has that whole hotel to her, not whole hotel, but whole hotel room to herself, which is pretty big. And Francois comes in like a swine once again, and they say, "No, we're leaving you." Bye, Francois. And they go to the studio with AK. This was my favorite part of the season so far, because we just see Shauna be a person, and we just see Shauna be appreciative for a little bit, and we just see Shauna be complimented. And I love AK. One thing about it, two things for certain, I love AK. He looks Kenyan to me. So I'm just putting that out there. He looks Kenyan to me. I had to Google because every time I see an actor, and I think they're Kenyan, I Googled it, but he doesn't have enough information out there. I checked. He might be further down in his lineage, but it doesn't show. But he has a really Kenyan face. I digress. That's not relevant, really. It's not relevant. It's relevant to me, so I'm mentioning it, but it's not relevant. The other thing with this episode is that we get to see Mia and Courtney connect. Courtney is so beautiful. Courtney, and what one thing that Isa will always get right is the lighting. The lighting in the room is always really beautiful. And when Shauna and AK are talking, we have this miserable Grinch of a man. I don't even know his name. He's a groupie, so we don't know his name. We don't know male groupie names because they're just groupies and they're being silly and colorist. Ew. Anyway, he chimes in because he's jealous of someone that has talent, unlike him, untalented. I was gonna say a bunch of other things, but that would be shaming him and it wouldn't be true. So he is in fact untalented and talented, as some might say, and I will be mentioning that as a fact. It is true. I'm not shaming him. It's just untalented, and he says stupid things, and AK is like, stop it right now, you better shush, you know who's paying. Let me stop. But AK, we see that he is really misunderstood by everyone else because the image that was being portrayed by him from episode 2, you wouldn't think that this is how he would be, because he's very sweet and kind and is listening to Shauna fully, is interested in Shauna's world, and is paying attention, and that's really sweet. It's a sweet moment. And Mia and Courtney, I keep saying Mia and Courtney and stopping, but once again, Mia is so used to only having a relationship or relating with men when it comes to being physical. She thinks she can only get male vulnerability when it comes to physical intimacy, and that is not true. There are multiple ways, and Courtney shows it. Courtney stays with Mia and listens to Mia's story, says, you are amazing, and says, you could do this. I've seen this in you. Mia gets me mad sometimes, because every time someone comes in, she's like, drop the pants, let's start going, drop them, and sometimes have a conversation. I don't want to talk about this further because episode 5 is right around the corner, Jesus coming around the corner. Let me stop. That's a very niche reference that not a lot of people know. I will continue though. I will keep going. So we are at episode 5 and we've got... I'm not going to start with that. I'm not going to start with... I said bird. It's not funny. This is trigger warning. Leave now, because this is the funniest it will be. Everything after this is dark. What happened was really dark, and I do not want anyone who's not prepared to view it or to hear about it to be here. I'm not going to talk about it quite yet though, because I have to set the scene, introduce the characters, let you marinate in the situation a little bit longer. So we have the party going on, and we start off the episode with Mia Shauna beefing with Rain. As they should, because Rain is untalented. She is actually talented, but she shouldn't be doing the things that she is doing. And the 10 toes down really got me. I'm not gonna lie, it got me when she said 10 toes and she stood up. Got me. And we see the Instagram live, and that's one thing Isa did very well, or the producers, the everyone did that really well, because it really feels like you're watching a story. And when it comes to technology, people quite don't know how to portray it yet, and so it feels really real, or what an Instagram live would feel like, because people are typing and saying, "Is that your real voice?" And I would be saying that. I would be saying that. Or people are saying, "Say their names. Call them out." And then Rain is like, "They would love that. They would love that, wouldn't they?" And so after seeing Rain, also, another thing about Rain is that she is very much surrounded with Black people, or by Black people. The people that are of service to her or doing services for her are Black. So she has many Black people around her. And it's really concerning, or it's really difficult to see, because all these people sort of enable her, and they have to enable her in order to have a job, because even in season 1, Mia was the one doing Rain's makeup, and it's in order for Rain to portray a certain aesthetic that would not be possible without a Black person. If a white person did white people could do the makeup that Mia did for Rain in the first season, but it's not in the same way. And I think this proximity to Black people allows her to sell this image of, "Look at me. I just grew up around, I was there. That's why my voice sounds like this. I was." And it's like, no, babe, your voice sounded sort of like this before, and it's okay. It's very much fine. And it's so concerning to me. That's one of the things that I saw as a pattern, but I don't really care about Rain, so let's skip forward to Mia and Shauna seeing this, and Chastity because Chastity said, "Good on you," which you see Chastity is very concerned, and Mia, in her moments of downcastness in episode 3, I believe, called Lamont, said, "Lamont, you should come to LA." Actually, no, it was the last episode. She called Lamont and said, "You should come to LA." And now she has got 2 dates, 3, including Lamont, and now has to cancel with each of them because she is a bad. And so, yeah, she has to cancel with the man, and she starts with Lamont, which is sad. Every time she does something to Lamont, I feel it in my heart, in my soul. I love that man. I don't really love that man, but I love the character that plays that man. Plays him really well, because if you look at the person that plays Lamont, their discography, and then you look, they were in Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, and I had to take a pause because I saw, and I said, "What? That was you? That was you?" And it just shows, it's rage. And so she cancels on Lamont, and Shauna says something really important about Cash, because Cash posts, the photo of her, and he's like, "Bae, on..." Okay, now I could really start going in on Cash, because we have seen everything that he has done. Episode 5 is where I really put my foot down and said Cash is abusive, and here is the plot. I discussed a little bit about how he was grooming her to be okay with the abuse, and now I am going to be going a little bit more, because he demeans her, posts a photo of her with an emoji over her face but shows her body and says "bae," in after she posts a picture in episode 4 saying, with Shauna being like, "It's okay, I'm happy." after when Mia posted the photo with Shauna, it was in response to him posting a picture saying, I'm looking for someone to be with. And it's so corny. Men will embarrass you. When men are embarrassed, they will embarrass you. When men are jealous, they will embarrass you. Because men are not taught to feel their emotions in a way that is respectful of others, in a way that does not hurt others. So a man, when triggered by your success, will make you feel bad, make you feel like trash for just existing as a person, instead of being like, okay, I'm having an emotion, let me name it, let me stay in it, let me ask a friend what I can do. Not ask a friend, because sometimes their friends are so terrible. But why am I giving men advice? Let me go on to Cash. So Cash starts this habit of devaluing her and then giving her a gift, the Mugler dress. I love the way she said Mugler. And he gives her the Mugler dress, and Mia is taking it as, oh my goodness, he loves me. And he doesn't love you. He doesn't love you. A man that plays these games ghosts you, doesn't talk to you for days, and doesn't provide an explanation for that, instead sends you a gift and then texts you and says, see you tonight, does not love you. That is a man that is trying to control you, because they don't care about your physical or emotional well-being. Cash could care less about how Mia is doing. He just wants to make sure that she still adores him, still puts him first, that he still has control over her. And we see this in the behavior that he exhibits later on after being called out. I'm going to talk about Francois. Once again, evil man. And this habit of not feeding people, this habit of them trying to order at the table and Francois saying no, and then only bringing out the food when they agree to apologize to Rain, is manipulation. If someone is withholding something until you do something for them, that is manipulation, because it takes out choice from your part. Whenever choice is taken away from you, know that you're being manipulated. Whenever you're made to feel like you only have one option by a person, know you're being manipulated, because as a human we have many avenues. You do not have to do that one thing that the person is saying so that you can be provided for, so that the relationship can continue. Remember that. And this is very rampant in a lot of relationships as I see them, with a person saying, no, we can only do this. No, you're human. Humans are very multifaceted. We could find multiple solutions to the problem. There are multiple ways to do things. It's not just one way. And I appreciate you for bringing up that way, but I will also think with my oblong and find other things. And so Francois is manipulative. We've discussed that. And the next scene is them at the party and Mia trying to dodge all these men, and Shauna, my love. Oh, I forgot. Cassidy got them a really nice place, and they then proceed to kind of cut her off later in the episode, which is not fun. It's not that great of an experience, because she just did this awful thing in order to get them to a place where they can enjoy and feel safe. And the thing they do is say, oh, we don't really know. So let me keep going to the party. So Mia starts the day out with Mr. Cash. Mr. Cash is the first man she sees, and she walks towards the section with Mr. Cash after apologizing to Raina. I'm not going to talk about the Raina apology. Yes, Shauna was right to take back the apology. She does not deserve an apology. She knows exactly what she's doing, and she doesn't deserve it. She doesn't. And Shauna was right. Let me go back to Mia. Mia was with Cash. She is, as Mia is bopping to the AK song that is happening, Cash says, "Why are you doing too much?" That is a controlling behavior, because when a person sees you giving attention to something else and then they make you feel bad for it, no, something is going on, and it's not a positive something, it's a negative something, and you should be very suspicious. Because they are trying to stop you from being yourself. So Cash asks Mia to basically stop bopping to the song of the person that she's on tour with, that she is trying to support in the moment, for allowing her to be on tour with them. And then Mia asks Cash, "Hey, why did you post that picture of me?" Cash says, "'Cause I felt like it, 'cause I could." And when someone says that and does not offer you a reason, because there's no reason for that, okay? There is no reason for someone to post a picture of you that you sent to them privately that was only for you two, because it shows that they don't respect you as a person. They don't care about your autonomy. They don't care about how this is going to affect you. So if someone starts to do that, it's a sign. Walk out. Go. Take the high road away from them, please. Because they have no regard for you. They see you as a thing to display. They see you just as any other person that could be plugged in and just be you, and they could do anything. And this goes again to the thing about control, because when people are controlling and manipulative and abusive, they do these things where they do something bad and then they get you a big thing, the mugler. And it keeps you in the cycle where you say, no, but they got me this, so they can't possibly, they can't possibly be doing this. And I'm proud of Mia, because Mia walked away to Courtney, which was a bit messy. That's a bit messy. We gotta talk about this. Same night, 3 men, same night. Let's talk about this. Actually, 2 men, same night. Lamont was gotten rid of during the day, sadly. But 2 men, same night. She goes to Courtney, and Courtney is so sweet. And once again, the lighting in these rooms. Isa, you're so magnificent. The way your brain thinks, the way these producers think, you're so magnificent. Isa, you're so magnificent. But let me keep going. The lighting is so beautiful in each of the scenes, and either the purple or the kind of orange, warm yellow lighting that creates this sense of intimacy, and you see it kind of reflecting from the skin, and how that creates kind of a warmth within you. Ooh, I love lighting. I don't know how to talk about lighting, but I love it. I love the lighting. And we get 2 scenes, one with Mia and Courtney. Courtney is so beautiful. Okay, we get Mia, Courtney, and this is nice because it feels like he actually likes her in the way Lamont likes her, and not in the way Cash likes her, because Cash is evil. Get that man out of your head. Because also with Cash, I think there's this whole idea that people want a person that can provide for them, or this push towards dating wealthy men, when a lot of the times wealthy men see you as disposable. Wealthy men do not care about you as a person, and in order to have a person that can give you money at any time, you have to think about the other things that they could do. What if you disagree with them because they have all this wealth and power? Now your life is in danger. Your life is in danger, sweetie. What if something just happens, and what if you say you don't like something? What if you say you don't want that? They're the ones providing. They're the ones with the money, so they have control over you. And so these situations are not always safe. And that's why when I'm seeing this rise in people saying, wealthy men, you have to really put yourself in that situation and see that you have no power, which is not fair. I want to create something around this. It's not fair. Some content about this. It's not fair that you do not have control, and it's not fair that in order to acquire power, acquire safety for a lot of people just want safety. That's why many people don't want to work, because they want safety. They want safety nets. They want network opportunities. They want to just be able to not worry about where their next thing will come from. And this puts you in a position where you're dependent on someone else, especially in the movements where you are being told, marry a wealthy man. I'm not gonna say names because people start to attack, but you have to be cognizant of the wealthy men that you are with and what wealth does generally, because you can't really discriminate. You can't say this wealthy man is good, this wealthy man is bad. Wealth and power cause this weird concoction to the human brain, because no one should have that much control over anything. You start to actually, I'm gonna stop there because I'm diverting, and I'm trying to stay on a straight path. So we have Mia with Courtney, and lovely scene, beautiful scene. And we have Shauna with AK, where he is into anime, and it's so cute. I don't like anime like that, but Full Metal Alchemist, that's very basic. Everyone likes that. But I enjoyed having that moment between AK and Shauna, because AK and Shauna are very parallel characters. Their lives are really similar in that they don't fit in the ways that other people fit in, or the image that is expected of them in that space. Because Shauna, before meeting with AK, had just been smoking a cigar. And so she's with AK with this cigar, and AK is like, I didn't know you did that. And she was like, it's the occasion. And right before, Shauna had to, at the request of Francois, had to be like, no, I'm bad. And she doesn't have to be. She doesn't have to do all this performance. She could just be herself. And I want both Shauna and Mia to get to a point where they could just be themselves and not have to worry about this image. But this is an image that is very prevalent in the industry of what you have to be in order to be in a certain niche or be a certain musician. And I dislike it for Shauna and Mia, but it's And Chastity, I feel so bad for Chastity in that scene, because everyone just left her behind. And Francois, I dislike that man. But I'm trying to get to the scene. So Cash, that was not bait. That was actually where my mind went to first. I'm going to get to the scene that everyone wants to listen to, obviously. But Cash sees Mia with Courtney, and then gets defensive and is saying, no, how could you do that, and starts like beating up Courtney, which obviously you see the way in which Cash is manipulative, because they never agreed on a label. They never agreed on that they were together. And then he posed her as bae, and they never even defined what them being together was. And she just exited away from him deliberately. And the first thing he does is act like he has control over her, and that she has to answer to him with everything that she does, which she doesn't. She's her own person. Let's remember, if someone tries to take choices away from you, you are what? Maybe being manipulated. You should because it's so nuanced. These things are so nuanced. But if someone tries to make you go to a particular choice, then they're playing with your head. They're playing with your head very sillily. They're playing with your head. And we are then taken to the scene with Shauna and AK. This is trigger warning, which is their first romantic scene. And I'm sad for Shauna, because this is a person she really connected to. And it turns out that he wasn't doing the best mentally, because from the third episode, actually from the second episode, we were told that he lost a very important part of his life, and he really has not been the same after that, because even the scene prior, he was trying to party and show it up, but he just was not feeling it. He was not feeling it. You can't force it. You can't force that type of thing. And so when it comes to being intimate with Shauna and his this is showing, then he just gets a bit embarrassed, and it just gets a bit too much, because also we have to keep in mind he was on shrooms. And so this moment might have felt more intense because of that, and generally that he wasn't being listened to and was just being kept on tour and had to keep going and couldn't stop and mourn what had happened to a person that was important to him, shows just the state he was in. And he then it doesn't end well. It ends with fire and himself, and it's not a pleasant scene. And I wish there was more warning this episode for this, because it didn't make sense. And he's taken out on the ambulance because he's on one of the higher floors. And I think I don't like how this scene was done. It was a bit distasteful, because there was just I feel like we have a lot of context missing. Yes, I was able to piece it together, but there's so much context that's missing here that would have been quite helpful in processing the situation. And we are made to believe, because the next episode, they're back in Miami, that he is in critical condition. And that's not the best way to really introduce a character, because we've only gotten 2 episodes of him talking, and then he's taken away. And I guess maybe that's the speed in which they were trying to say that things happen, and you never know. But it felt a little bit rushed, or the past few episodes, like I was saying at the beginning, I've been feeling more and more rushed. And I know it's because they have to wrap up this season, but I just wish they gave more room to understand really what was going on, because it was such a shock. It was such a shock, and especially because it's related to something going on with him mentally, maybe. Or even I just wish we got more of an explanation as to how we got here. And I don't know how to end this, because that was really heartbreaking, that scene. And really sad in general, and we weren't left with a lot to process. But just also, if you're watching the series, also just take care of yourself. Make sure you're okay while watching it. Make sure you're in a good mental space to receive the information, because this episode was a lot. And I'm looking forward to that was okay. Not to dismiss the past episode, but I'm looking forward to future episodes, and I do want to see how they wrap this up. But that was also really a weird way to end the last episode. So I'm hoping